The Hidden Fairy Village, Chapter 1, The Discovery. Maya had always been fascinated by the woods behind her house. She loved the way the sunlight filtered through the trees and the sound of the birds singing in the branches. She had explored every inch of the woods, or so she thought. One sunny day, as she was walking through the woods, Maya noticed a small path that she had never seen before. Curious, she followed the path, and before she knew it, she had stumbled upon a hidden fairy village. Maya couldn't believe her eyes. The village was made up of tiny houses that were nestled in the roots of trees, and the air was filled with the sweet smell of flowers. She heard soft music and laughter in the distance, and she knew that there were creatures nearby. As Maya approached the village, she caught a glimpse of a small fairy with shimmering wings flitting between the trees. The fairy looked up and spotted Maya, and Maya froze in place, unsure of what to do next. The fairy flew closer and landed on a nearby branch, staring curiously at Maya. Maya took a step forward and smiled, hoping to show the fairy that she meant no harm. The fairy seemed to sense that Maya was friendly, and it flew closer to her. Maya couldn't believe it. She was face to face with a real-life fairy. Chapter 2, Meeting the Fairies. The fairy that had flown up to Maya introduced herself as Lila. Maya was overjoyed to have made a new friend, especially one that was a fairy. Lila led Maya deeper into the fairy village, and Maya's eyes widened as she saw more and more fairies. There were fairies with wings that sparkled like diamonds, fairies with hair that glowed like fire, and fairies with skin that looked like it was made of pure gold. Maya was amazed by the fairy houses that were made from flowers, leaves, and branches. Each house was unique, and some even had tiny chimneys that puffed out glitter instead of smoke. As they walked, Lila explained to Maya about the different types of fairies that lived in the village. There were garden fairies who tended to the plants, water fairies who controlled the streams and rivers, and light fairies who brought sunshine to the land. Maya was fascinated by everything she saw and learned, and she couldn't believe that she had stumbled upon such a magical place. As the day began to draw to a close, Maya knew that she had to head back home. Lila told her that she was welcome to visit any time she wanted, and that the fairies would be happy to show her around the village again. Maya said goodbye to her new fairy friends and promised to come back soon. As she made her way back through the woods, she couldn't stop smiling. She had discovered a whole new world, and it was full of wonder and magic. Chapter 3, A Tour of the Village. The next time Maya visited the fairy village, she was greeted with open arms. The fairies welcomed her as one of their own and offered to give her a tour of the village. Maya eagerly followed Lila and her fairy friends as they showed her around the magical place. They started by visiting the fairy marketplace, where the fairies traded goods made from flowers, leaves, and other natural materials. Maya saw beautiful flower crowns, delicate jewelry made from twigs and berries, and even tiny instruments that the fairies used to play their music. The fairies explained to Maya that they tried to live in harmony with nature and used only materials that they found in the woods and fields. Next, the fairies took Maya to the garden where the garden fairies tended to the plants. Maya was amazed by the beautiful flowers and the way they seemed to dance in the breeze. She watched as the fairies worked their magic, coaxing the plants to grow and flourish. After the garden, Maya was taken to the river where the water fairies lived. Maya had never seen water so clear and clean. She watched as the water fairies swam and played in the river, using their magic to control the flow of the water. As they made their way back through the village, Maya couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and awe. The fairies lived in perfect harmony with the natural world, and it was clear that they cared deeply about the environment around them. Maya knew that she had much to learn from her fairy friends, and she made a promise to herself to always respect and care for the world around her, just like the fairies did. Chapter 4, The Pollution Problem. One day, when Maya returned to the fairy village, she noticed that something was different. The air smelled strange, and the plants looked wilted and sickly. Maya asked the fairies what had happened, and they told her that a nearby town had been dumping their trash and waste into the river that flowed through the woods. The river was now polluted, and it was affecting everything in the surrounding area, including the fairy village. Maya was heartbroken to see her friends and their home suffering. She knew that something had to be done to stop the pollution and restore the natural balance. The fairies asked Maya for her help, and together they came up with a plan. Maya knew that the town needed to be educated about the dangers of pollution and the importance of preserving the environment. She decided to create posters and flyers with the help of the fairies and hang them up around the town. Maya also asked the local news station to do a story about the pollution problem in the area. Thanks to Maya's efforts, the people in the town began to understand the damage they were causing to the environment. They started to clean up the river and dispose of their waste properly. Over time, the river and the woods began to heal, the plants started to grow again, and the air smelled fresh and clean. The fairies were overjoyed to see their home restored to its natural beauty. Maya felt proud of what she had accomplished and grateful for the help of her fairy friends. She knew that by working together, they could make a difference and protect the magical world of the fairies. Chapter 5. Setting out on a quest. One day, Maya overheard the fairies talking about a magical crystal that was said to have the power to grant wishes. The crystal was located in a far-off land, and it was said to be guarded by a fierce dragon. Maya was intrigued by the idea of the crystal and the adventure that awaited her. She knew that it was a risky undertaking, but she also knew that the fairies needed the crystal's power to protect their home from any future threats. Maya decided to set out on a quest to find the crystal. The fairies helped her prepare for the journey, giving her a map and a bag of supplies. Maya traveled through the woods and over mountains, facing challenges and overcoming obstacles along the way. She crossed treacherous rivers and battled fierce beasts, never giving up hope of finding the crystal. After many weeks of travel, Maya finally arrived at the cave where the crystal was said to be located. She could feel the dragon's presence, and her heart raced as she entered the cave. As she made her way deeper into the cave, Maya saw the dragon guarding the crystal. She knew that she had to be brave and face the dragon to obtain the crystal. Maya took a deep breath and approached the dragon. She spoke to it kindly, telling it about the fairies and their need for the crystal. To her surprise, the dragon listened to her and agreed to let her take the crystal. Maya returned to the fairy village, where she presented the crystal to the fairies. The crystal glowed brightly, and the fairies were filled with joy and gratitude. They thanked Maya for her bravery and promised to use the crystal's power to protect their home and the natural world around them. Maya felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. She knew that she had helped the fairies and made a difference in the world. She also knew that her adventure was just the beginning of the many magical experiences that awaited her in the world of fairies. Chapter 6. Facing Challenges. Maya had been living with the fairies for several months now and had grown to love her new home. She had made many friends among the fairies and enjoyed exploring the enchanted woods. One day, a group of mischievous goblins arrived in the village, causing trouble and chaos wherever they went. They stole food from the fairies' gardens, knocked over mushroom houses, and made a mess of everything. Maya knew that she had to do something to stop the goblins from wreaking havoc in the village. She tried talking to them, but they just laughed and continued their mischief. The fairies were getting more and more upset with the goblins' behavior, and Maya could feel the tension growing. She knew that she had to come up with a plan to stop the goblins once and for all. Maya remembered the time she had faced the dragon to obtain the crystal. She knew that she had to be brave and take action. She decided to organize the fairies and create a plan to catch the goblins. They set up traps and decoys to lure the goblins into a central area. Once the goblins were caught, Maya spoke to them about the damage they were causing and how it was affecting the fairy village. To her surprise, the goblins listened to her and agreed to stop their mischief. They apologized to the fairies and helped repair the damage they had caused. Maya felt proud of herself and the fairies. She knew that it wasn't easy to face challenges, but with determination and teamwork, they could overcome anything. From that day on, the goblins were welcomed in the fairy village as friends, and Maya felt grateful for the experience. She had learned that even the most challenging situations could be resolved with understanding and compassion. Chapter 7. Discovering the Cause. After the goblin incident, Maya started noticing a disturbing trend in the forest. The animals seemed to be behaving differently than usual. Some were sick, while others were fleeing their habitats and moving elsewhere. Maya spoke to the fairies about her concerns and together they decided to investigate the cause of the animals' strange behavior. They journeyed deep into the forest and found a stream that was filled with murky, polluted water. Maya knew that this was the cause of the animals' behavior, and they had to act fast to clean up the stream. the fairies used their magical powers to remove the pollution from the water, and the animals started to return to their habitats. However, Maya knew that this was not a permanent solution. They had to find the source of the pollution and stop it from happening again. After some investigation, they discovered that a group of humans had been dumping waste into the stream. Maya was shocked and saddened by this discovery. She knew that humans had to understand the impact of their actions on the environment and work towards preserving nature. Maya decided to take action and speak to the humans responsible for polluting the stream. With the fairies' help, she explained the damage they were causing to the environment and the impact it had on the animals and the fairy village. To her surprise, the humans listened to her and agreed to stop polluting the stream. They even apologized for their actions and promised to work towards cleaning up the environment. Maya felt grateful for the experience, and she knew that it was essential to educate humans about the importance of preserving nature. She felt proud of herself and the fairies for making a difference and protecting their home. Chapter 8: Cleaning Up the River. With the help of the humans who had promised to stop polluting the stream, Maya and the fairies started a mission to clean up the river. They gathered trash bags, gloves, and tools to remove the waste that had been dumped into the water. It was hard work, but they persevered, knowing that the health of the river and its inhabitants depended on their efforts. They worked tirelessly for days, removing everything from plastic bottles and bags to old furniture and appliances. As they cleaned up the river, Maya and the fairies discovered that the river was home to many magical creatures they had never seen before. There were water nymphs, mermaids, and even a small family of selkies. Maya felt a great sense of responsibility towards these creatures and vowed to protect them in the future. She knew that preserving the environment was not just about cleaning up the trash but also about preserving the habitats of all living beings. After weeks of hard work, the river was finally clean again. The animals returned to their homes, and the water was clear and sparkling. Maya felt a great sense of accomplishment, knowing that she and the fairies had made a positive impact on the environment. She knew that it was essential to continue educating humans about the importance of preserving nature and protecting the habitats of all living beings. She felt grateful for the experience and the lessons she had learned about the interconnectedness of all living things in the world. Chapter 9: Restoring the Water Source. As Maya and the fairies celebrated their success in cleaning up the river, they received news that the water source that fed the river was in trouble. The fairies depended on the water source for their magical powers, and without it, they would not be able to survive. Maya and the fairies quickly sprang into action, and they discovered that a group of trolls had taken over the water source. The trolls were using the water for their own purposes and had polluted it with their waste. Maya knew that she had to act fast to restore the water source and save the fairies. She set out on a mission to confront the trolls and reclaim the water source. When she arrived at the water source, she found the trolls guarding it fiercely. She tried to reason with them, but they were not interested in listening to her. They attacked her, and she had to use all her skills and knowledge to defend herself. Finally, after a fierce battle, Maya was able to defeat the trolls and reclaim the water source. She and the fairies worked hard to clean up the water and restore it to its natural state. Once the water source was clean, the fairies' magical powers were restored, and they were able to live happily in their village again. Maya felt grateful for the experience, and she knew that it had taught her a valuable lesson about the importance of protecting the environment and standing up for what she believed in. As Maya returned to the village, she felt a sense of accomplishment knowing that she had saved the fairies and restored the water source. She knew that her adventures were not over, and there would be more challenges to face in the future. But she felt confident knowing that she had the support of the fairies and the knowledge and skills to face anything that came her way. Chapter 10: Going Home. As Maya prepared to leave the fairy village, she felt a mix of emotions. She was excited to go back home and see her family and friends, but she was also sad to leave the fairies and the magical world she had come to love. The fairies threw her a farewell party, and Maya felt overwhelmed by their kindness and generosity. They gave her a special gift, a small vial of fairy dust, which they said would bring her good luck and protect her on her journey. As Maya said goodbye to the fairies and the magical creatures she had met, she promised to come back and visit them soon. She knew that she would always have a special connection with the fairy village and the magical world she had discovered. As she walked away from the village, Maya felt a sense of peace and contentment. She knew that she had made a difference in the world and that she had learned valuable lessons about the importance of protecting the environment and standing up for what she believed in. As she returned to the human world, Maya felt changed. She saw the world around her with new eyes and felt a sense of responsibility towards the environment and all living beings. She knew that she would always carry the memories of her adventures with the fairies with her and that they would continue to inspire her for years to come.